to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Victor, would you say the prayer, please?
Yes. God, we come before you in the mighty name of Jesus, and we thank you for this wonderful year that we've had as a council, Lord. We ask for your guidance. We ask that you will enlighten us and give us wisdom to make the right decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Need a roll call, please?
Counselor Johnson?
Here.
Counselor Lorenz?
Here.
Counselor Segala?
Here.
Counselor Ellithorpe? Here. Mayor Becker?
Here.
A quorum is declared.
Approval of consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Johnson?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Counselor Segala?
Aye.
Counselor Ellithorpe? Aye. Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, citizen comments, special presentations. Back to you, Ellie. Yes, please. State your name to get up there.
All right, my name is Ellie Reynolds. I'm the Public Sector Solutions Manager for Waste Management of Colorado. I'm here tonight to ask you to approve a price increase for your services that's outlined in your contract already, but we like to present to council once a year per our contract for you all to approve the increase, and I'm more than happy to walk through it. I also, since I made the trek out to your neck in the woods from Denver, where my office is, I also have some stuff I brought with me as far as how many missed pickups you've had this year, what our service rates are looking like, some courtesy pickups that we did in the town as well, just so that you know that Waste Management is a good neighborhood partner for you all. So I'm going to start with some of the good news that we're doing, and then we can get into the price increase. So a couple of the things that we're doing, and I can hand this out if you'd like. But some of the things that we've done is this year we did 101 courtesy pickups. That means we did not charge anybody in the town for extra pickups if they needed it. We also did 91 different cart deliveries, whether that was people moving out or moving in. That was also courtesy. Our estimated time of arrival is about 10 minutes from a missed pickup. And from our missed pickups, while we did have 13 missed pickups in the year, that is a 99.97 service success rate. So that is the rate that we're picking up households and how many we had in a year. And that is the percentage. Once again, 99.97%. We also did extra pickups, only about 2 this year, and we did 57 resume service, which usually means that you all are having some flux in your town as far as housing. And another thing we did was cart swaps. As the carts got older, Waste Management has been responsible for those cart swaps. So whether we have broken wheels or cracks or anything, that is something else that we did for the town. So just to let you know what we're doing in your town, and then to get to the price increase. So the price increase is something we ask for annually, and this is outlined from the Consumer Price Index by the Bureau of Labor. And we took the Denver and Lakewood percentage. It tends to be the most reflective of the area, because that's just how they break it down, is a Denver, Lakewood, or it's the whole state. And so we do that percentage, and what we do is it's the last 6 months and then the previous year, and it's that percentage. And you'll turn to, in your packet, I believe you have the letter, which has the chart showing that, as well as how we calculate it. So it's a little easier than me just explaining it for you all. You let me know when you find it, and I'll... So this comes from the U.S. Department of Labor, and what we do is we take, once again we take the last 6 months of the last year and then the most recent, and we apply that average. That is 3.45% of an increase, and then we apply that to your rates. You'll see the summary of the annual rate increase, and this is just us breaking down exactly what those numbers look like, so you're not guessing what the percentage of your rate increase will be, and you're able to see, really how the change will impact you. So when we're doing curbside containers, one curbside will go from $16.81 to $17.39. And there's some other things in there as well, but that's probably the one that you'll see most often in your town. Is there any questions on how we took this or the annual increase? And just to let you know, this is also, it's in the letter as well, but this is something that's already outlined in your contract. Other contracts that we have, we don't necessarily go to the city, it just is applied. So this is something that we'll do annually with you all, come and explain it, also walk you through what we're doing in the town and how many missed pickups, our service rate, all of that every year.
I guess the only question I have is about curbside recycling. I know that a lot of people ask about recycling and why we don't have that with waste management.
That is a service that we'd be more than happy to offer. It's an expensive service. And I can go through kind of why that is. Recycling, the market for recycling used to be a lot different. I'm not sure if any of you have kind of seen how the commodities have shifted, but essentially we used to be able to take about a 40% contamination rate of recycles, ship it over to China, and make a value on it. So then we were able to provide that as an extra incentive to choosing us for your trash service. Now it actually costs us money, and the reason it costs us money is because China has said they're going to take 0.5% contamination. So for on our end, our processing costs have increased, the plastics that we take has changed, and so all of those things have kind of changed with recycling, so now it does cost. It will cost money, and it'll cost more than trash most likely. We are more than happy to put together a presentation, and I'd love to come back. If you all are interested in recycling, I can give you some options. We can come back with single stream recycling, as you all know is just very similar to your one cart that you have on your curbside. Another thing that we do in a lot of mountain towns, as well as the West Slope, that's been very successful, is the dual stream. Dual stream is very similar to back in the day when you separated out your cardboard and your plastics. And with that is a lot lower of a contamination rate. Now it takes extra effort on your constituents, but at the same time, your contamination rate is a lot lower, and therefore you're able to get a better price because it doesn't cost us as much money to sort it, process it, sell it. But if that's something you all want, that is something that we most certainly can provide.
I would like to see that. What do you guys think? I would like to see that. I know that it's just an important thing and a little bit of a step forward.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be a good idea to, just to kind of get a really great idea of what it's going to cost and what it's going to be
I
like.
think it would be important. I know other trash companies offer that here, and it's not a huge expense, not much different than, so I'd just like to see what you guys have to offer in that.
Yeah,
too.
and I don't see it being a huge expense, but I think before it used to be almost tacked onto your trash service. So now it will be at cost. There is a cost associated with it.
It would be trash service
Plus recycling, yes. Where before, how we used to kind of bid things out as if we did your trash, it made sense for us to take your recycles because we could sell them and it made us money and it kind of offset those processing costs for us. Now it doesn't, but we still want to be good community partners, and if you want that, we can provide that. We're a very large company, and we definitely have the ability to do that. Something else that Waste Management can provide you all with when it comes to recycling in comparison to other folks in the area is whenever we do recycling in a town, we also do a lot of community outreach, as well as a lot of communication with the constituents, and that is a vital part of recycling. Because the markets have shifted, people have to understand how to recycle and what they can recycle, and it also keeps the more that we're able to do for you all, whether it's communication or community relations, the better your rates become because your contamination is lower. So it ends up saving you money. So those are things that we can do and absolutely put a proposal together for you all.
I would like to see one, just curious.
I'm pretty sure they do recycling out here at our local landfill. Do you do any of that locally with any of the local facilities rather than sending it to China?
Everyone sends it to China. So how it works is you process it here, absolutely. You process it, and some of it you can sell domestically, whether it's paper or some, but the market is not big enough here. And so when we bring up China, that's where everybody sells their commodities to as far as recycling. They're one of the only people that will take the recycling commodity. We are hoping that domestically the commodities come back up here and there's more of a demand for it here, but right now, and to be quite honest, a lot of that has to go with petroleum prices. The cost of oil is so low right now, you can almost make it cheaper than you can recycling it. So it's something that we're working with, but we are committed to recycling and will continuously do it. So I'm not sure exactly why it wasn't initially bidded in your contract, but another thing is if there are other people in the town doing it, they're most likely doing commercial one-offs or maybe residential one-offs where you all have a citywide contract. So that's why it would be different too, if that makes sense. So there are people doing it here, but our prices and things would be different just based on the sheer number of pickups.
Forrest, can I ask you a question? You've been more directly involved with this, specifically with waste management, as well as the recycling issue, if I'm not mistaken. Do you have any thoughts on this whole process, including the increase?
Well, I think the increase that's requested for general services, appears to be in line with what we're seeing as inflation indicators here in the valley. So, from a staff standpoint, we don't have any objections to that. The recycling issue, as she stated, is a bit of a problem with the market right now. And I've kind of been following that just in general. And yeah, for various factors like petroleum and the buyers. And, we're having a little bit of a trade war with China. You might have heard about that. So that, along with their cleanliness requirements, really amps up the cost of shipping the materials over there. So in the domestic markets, almost non-existent.
Oh, thank you.
And one.
Really good thing on TV is recycling and that huge garbage pile that's in the middle of the ocean. It was eye-opening. Most of the recycling is really not properly recycled, but it's making somebody a lot of money for a while.
Interesting.
We can assure that it is properly recycled at Waste Management.
Until
But
it gets to China. Then you can't guarantee anything.
That's right.
I will say another thing is, and I just wanted to be upfront with you in case you get the proposal and you're thinking that recycling is less or there won't be a cost, because there is a cost associated. So that's just why I brought that up. But once again, I don't want to say that we can't do it. We can do it. We can provide you all with a proposal. And in the proposal, we can show you exactly where it would go to be processed, where it would be transferred, what we accept currently. Another thing we do with recycling, because so many towns really are interested in how the commodity values are affecting the markets, we can always show you our processing facilities, what we can take, what we can't take, and the condition that things come in. When you do single stream, what ends up happening is people use it as a second, trash can. They end up putting a big TV on the bottom and then filling the top with recycles. So, but one of the things that puts waste management above is we have such great technology in our trucks and everything that we're allowed to see what that contamination looks like. So normally, we can catch it before it becomes an expense to us, if that makes sense. So, but these are all things that I'm more than happy to come back and present, put together a proposal of some real numbers, what it would cost you all.
I like that.
Me too.
And another thing to keep in mind is if you do continue, to go with waste management or look at the proposal, and I'll put this in there as well, since we're already servicing your town, our trucks are already on the road, so you're not having an added truck impact to something that's not already on your roads.
Is something we need to take care of now, or?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, you all would have to vote to accept the rate increase proposal.
Well, I don't think that the increase is significant. Looks like 50 cents or 60 cents right around in there. I would move to pass that increase.
Second.
It's been moved and second, excuse me, moved and seconded to accept the waste management, rate increase. Is there any more discussion?
Counselor Lorenz? Aye. Counselor Ellithorpe? Counselor Johnson?
Aye.
Counselor Segala?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guess you'll be back when it's colder.
Right? I think in February sometime, that's a lot of fun.
I did have a beautiful scenic route on the way down here. I've told many people, but I took 285 and it was gorgeous, so
That was gorgeous.
no complaints here. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizen comments. City Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at this meeting. Mr. Spillman?
I'll use my 3 minutes to remind the city council again of the value of the Monte Vista Golf Course as the main, if not the only, certainly the most valuable recreational opportunity and attractant that we have here. And I hope that you will not only see that it survives, but that it prospers. And along the lines of helping it to prosper, I think, as I've said before, that finding a lessee is a real good solution, both in terms of improving its performance as well as getting the monkey off the back of the city council. And in that vein, I hope that you will give serious consideration to putting an RV park out there, because an RV park is a win-win situation for the lessee and for the town. It really would be. And I think, based on a little studying I've done, that a lot of people would flock from up around South Fork that are currently up there and come down here and spend the summer down here. And in that connection, I wondered if the 4 months that you have in your RV ordinance is arbitrary, or if there's a reason for doing that, because if you make it a 5-month period, you can go from mid-May to mid-October, which is really, so I hope you'll consider that at some point too. And as to with regard to the recycling, I've been recycling for 15 years here in Alamosa. You just drive down there and put your stuff, and it takes a little while to separate it. But the one out here, Gary, is almost always plunk, just so full you can't hardly put anything in there. So on my infrequent trips to Alamosa to shopping, Walmart, I do go out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charlie.
Charlie? Anybody else? Sure? It's your time. Ruth? You got something you want to say? Okay. We're going to ordinances now. Forrest?
Good evening, Mayor, Councilors. Happy New Year. I'll make this brief. In response to the 4 months that's in this ordinance, as you recall, that the applicant can seek to have that changed for a particular use through the planning process. So it can be the initial planning process, or if they need it at any time, because it is a special review use. So, we picked that based upon looking at other information, but as I said earlier, there are actually some RV parks now that are designed to be open year-round in the valley. So we'll see what we get that comes, and certainly we can make those adjustments. Other than that, I don't have any particular comments on this. Nothing's changed since the previous draft which you approved, and so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd hope that you'd pass and approve this on second reading this evening.
I move that we approve ordinance 891 on final reading, amending Chapter 12 zoning to allow creation and operation of RV parks within the city limits.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept ordinance 891. Chapter 12, zoning to allow creation, operation of RV parks within the city limits. Is there any more discussion?
As long as they can, as long as that tolerance is flexible, I think Charlie brought up a good point. I think that's important. So, yeah.
Actually, I do have a question, now that you mention that. What you said kind of indicated the time of, at least what I understood, the time of the park opening. Instead of being year-round, it would be, is that what you were talking about?
No, we're just talking about duration of stay.
Well, I know what he was saying, but we're talking
Yeah,
about a
ordinance
year-round
is, well,
park.
we don't know if they'll be year-round or not. The park doesn't have to be year-round. It could be.
Okay.
Could be 5 months.
It could be 5 months, 6, 9, 12, depending on who the owner is and what their desire is to run it. I mean, we would anticipate this ordinance allows for a 12-month operation.
All right. I just wanted to clarify.
Just allowed a time spent there is 4 months, and then you can renew that. So I think we're
Right.
good.
We just don't agree.
Right, because it doesn't become a permanent residential facility.
22 voters.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'd want to be doing that right now, but
Counselor Segola?
Aye.
Counselor Ellithorpe?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Counselor Johnson?
All right.
Mayor Becker? Motion carries.
so your second ordinance for consideration this evening is ordinance number 893, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 880 and ordinance number 871, and replacing municipal code section 5-1-300. Basically what this does, and you all have passed it on first reading, creates an additional tool to deal with drug houses and illegal activity. And that tool would be to seek to seize the property through court action, and that'd be a civil action. We had that in the code, then we took it out, and we'd like to put it back in there, even though that's really a last resort effort, but it may be useful to have it available anyway. So, if y'all have any questions, otherwise I would hope that you would pass and approve this one on second reading this evening.
Just a little from you, Chief. What do you think? Think this is a great idea?
It's not really all that it's cracked up to be. However, if we were able to push it this far, it might help. It's really kind of, civil forfeiture, and Mike can probably speak to this, is really not a friendly topic in the state, but we absolutely can't even attempt it the way it was written. So yes, this needs to be changed if we ever even went down that road.
Yeah, and I think you had no option to try and see before because the ordinance is conflicted, I guess you want to say. And so we, talking to the chief and Forrest, thought at least we ought to throw it in there as another option, as a tool. Forfeitures are really problematic, very difficult. You gotta have a lot of things in place before you get to one, but I guess we need all the tools in the toolbox if
I would move to approve ordinance 893, repealing ordinance number 880 and ordinance 871, and replacing municipal code section 5-1-300.
I second
It's been moved and seconded. Three final reading, repealing ordinance number 880, ordinance number 871, and replacing municipal code section 5-1-300. Is there any more discussion? Nita?
Counselor Johnson?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Counselor Ellithorpe?
Aye.
Counselor Segula?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Get ready to take the house. Forrest, you got your staff report?
I do, sir. Essentially, we've covered most of the topics in there. The other one is the Sky High renovation project. There's a meeting tomorrow morning to kind of continue that on at 7 o'clock. And I should know a little bit more after that meeting. There's some actions the council may or may not need to take based upon discussions at that meeting. So when I send you my weekly report tomorrow, I'll have some of that in there, and then we'll probably have more of a discussion about it at our next council meeting. Other than that, we survived our first good snow event of the winter. The Public Works crew did a great job cleaning it up. It's amazing. I have worked in places with lots of snow, and we get a little snow. I know it's more than we usually encounter, but it's kind of interesting. So I had some interesting conversations with citizens. One thing I do want to bring up is that there is a requirement under municipal code to clean your sidewalk within 24 hours after it snows. That being said, one of the callers was like, well, I heard that wasn't the case anymore. It is still the case. But to be honest, it's one of those things that the chief and I were discussing this today. It's kind of a self-policing thing. I mean, a lot of people haven't cleared their walks at this point. It'd be nice if they could get out and do that. There's plenty of folks around here that you can pay like $20 to clean your walk, or get your neighbors to help you or something. We don't want to write citations for it, and our officers, are pretty busy. So, it's more of a thing you do for your community. You do it for your mail carriers and for your public works employees that are out meter reading. Anyway, so, for our workers and then for your neighbors. We have a lot of folks that walk to get downtown, or they walk all the way to the grocery store from their residences, and it's pretty difficult for them. And honestly, I'd hate to see someone get run over because they had to go around a sidewalk that wasn't shoveled. So, just a reminder to the citizens that, it's a good citizen thing for you to do. You'd hate to have, municipal court full of folks that didn't clean their sidewalks. I mean, we're a better community than that. So I just did want to mention that tonight. Other than that, I think that's all I have.
Is Ralph dealing with a bunch of frozen meters? I've seen frozen people.
Yeah, and still the reminder on that is you get 15,000 gallons a month in the middle of the winter that we don't charge any extra for. So all you have to do is run your faucets at night. And yeah, we are seeing some of that with this cold. And it's just real simple. I mean, I do that before I go to bed at night. Just crack a faucet. It's not going to increase your water bill, but it saves you the hassle, because usually where the pipes freeze, it's not on the city side of the meter. It's on the customer side. And, we're trying to help people out, and we've had crews out last couple days, helping people out, but there's only so much we can do. And it's a problem when those pipes freeze, So, yeah, we've been busy trying to help with that. But people, once again, can help themselves on that. It's free water, essentially. So,
So do you crack all of your faucets or just one?
you really
Does
just,
one do?
one will generally do it. Unless you have a really large house. But basically, you're just keeping a flow through the pipe from the city, through your meter, and into your house. So one faucet should do it. A lot of people, a kitchen sink's a good one, or a bathroom sink, but, someplace where it's warm too is good. But one will do it. That'll do it too. Yeah, and it doesn't hurt if you feel like, because there's some people that don't heat part of their house in the winter, they don't use those rooms. You got a sink in there, it doesn't hurt to run that as well. But one should do it.
Perfect.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Forrest.
Okay.
Anybody else got a staff report? I mean, I'd hate to think we're getting out of here this quick.
Well, we kind of planned it that way, but
Don't fight it, yeah.
Nita, did you have something you wanted to address?
No.
Thank you.
Gotta get hold of Colonel Lawson.
Seeing we have nothing else, meeting adjourned until,
Might have some
oh,
I have something I want to say.
oh, I'm sorry.
Because I'm a council person, I'm not a staff person.
Sorry.
I'll be really quick, like I normally am. I would have had some conversations with the golf course folks, and they would like to schedule a work session with us. Forrest and I had a conversation and thought that possibly the middle of February would be a good time to schedule a work session with the golf course folks. And I just wonder if you're all amenable to that project. Sometime mid-February. I can't, was it the 19th or, as it gets closer, Will?
The 19th.
It was a Tuesday, mid-February. Valentine's Day's over.
Easy. That sounds good. I actually had a text from some of those guys, and there's a couple guys that said they volunteered to go work on the mowers and stuff and get everything back up to snuff
Nice.
at no charge. I'm sure it'll cost us some of that.
Yeah, they've kind of broken into different committees on the golf course side, and each committee is working on some different things, and they're hopefully putting together some kind of a business plan and some projections and things like that. And they wondered if we would meet with them, and I said we'd be happy to.
It's good. Very good. Out of that meeting that we had over there, that, to be very honest with you, I believe the lynch mob was there, but I think we handled it very well, and I thought it was a very productive meeting. Personally,
was.
but,
It was.
so, I apologize. Kathy, do you have anything?
Neighborhood Watch 365 with council is scheduled for, wrong month. January 21st at 6 o'clock. Is that a Monday? It's Monday.
Where's that?
At the Chamber Visitor Center.
It's 6.
6.
Did you get that, Ruth?
Bring your district.
Is this
Good.
that thing that I got volunteered for that I'm still trying to
That's
figure
right.
out?
You- You were out of town and you got volunteered.
Happens a lot.
Might need another one of those maps.
I still
You have
have
those?
We've got,
Okay, good.
Many.
I might need, yeah. Thank you for offering. You still have yours. I'm not sure where mine is.
I would just want to remind people to bring in your pets at nighttime, even during the daytime. Like, it's freezing outside, 7 degrees, 10 degrees during the daytime. I just go outside to start my car in the morning, and I'm just like, just a sweater sometimes, and I'm cold. And I can just imagine the dogs and the cats, or mostly the dogs. The cats usually, there's probably some stray cats. I've seen some good ideas where people leave out tubs with little stuff in there for the cats to find shelter at nighttime. I just feel bad for them, because It's cold, and I get cold, and I can't just imagine these dogs and these cats that don't have any shelter. Also, if you see somebody out there, you know, give somebody a ride. You know, there's a lot of people that don't have transportation. If you're able to, you know, give them a ride. I have a niece out in Minnesota somewhere who the city will actually give somebody a ticket in the middle of the winter if they see him walking and don't pick somebody up because it's so cold, you know, and I kind of think like that. It's pretty cold out here too, you know. Not saying we should go there, you know, but I think we're better than that. So I would just like to remind everybody to just be courteous of other lives out there. So.
Can I say something too? You made me think of it, and I'll be quick. The animal shelter is absolutely packed with dogs that have been caught running. If you have old blankets, old towels, if you have an extra $20, throw them a bag of dog food. We're going through tons of dog food because we don't have room inside for all of them. And some of them have to stay out in the cold. We have houses and things like that, but we put hay in the dog houses, which is minimal. But if you have old blankets and towels or anything like that that you can throw their way, they appreciate it. And I know the shelter in Alamosa needs that as well. I just read that they're out of blankets. So as you're going through doing spring cleaning, taking your extra stuff, they could sure use it, or old dog foods or whatever you have would be so greatly appreciated.
Sales pitch. Gary?
Just one major announcement, thanks to the cooperation from the city staff, specifically the rec department. We now have an open skating rink. So it is frozen, it's contained, the decking is in, and the weather is extremely cooperative. As opposed to last season, when we had to sweep off the water pretty much twice a week. But the ice is good, it's smooth. The installation that we did, and this was because of kind of a little bit of a design change, and certainly the help we had from Jaime Hurtado and the rec department, the condition of the ice is way better than it's ever been. And we just need to, I'll be calling you, Ruth Ann, to get a PSA in about that and put it in the Alamosa paper. But the problem we've always had is that nobody seems to be aware of it. So everybody that's here, just tell your friends. But it's a little known thing. We're still working on some more signage out there, but it's at the Sky High Pavilion, and it's open basically 24/7, but we turn the lights out at 9 usually. But it's a great spot. It's a good opportunity. It's probably the only opportunity we've really got for wintertime of recreation, or open recreation here in town. So, and obviously Alamosa has their new facility open, and I wish them well with that, but it's this one's free and it's close by, so feel free to take advantage of it. Tell your friends.
Good.
When I was a kid, it seemed like almost every kid in town had a pair of ice skates. Skated on every school.
It has been way more popular, and it's just a matter of, I talk to people all the time. They say, oh, we have an ice rink? Where's that? Yeah, at the pavilion. Where's the pavilion? Well, yes, sort of. We actually, well, we need if we had a volunteer down there, we have skates, and they're free, and we just loan them out. They're stored in the shipping container that's on the property, but somebody has to be there to hand them out. And I experimented with that when we were just doing it privately, and we had paid somebody to be there on Friday, I think it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to just hand them out, and there wasn't any charge for it. They're just old used skates, but there's plenty of them. So yeah, technically, if we can get the help and support, volunteer, we'll have to work out those details with the city. We're working on it, but we got the major part done at least now, so, and we'll keep you posted on how much else is available. We had big plans in terms of concessions, hot chocolate, a warming shed, a lot of things, and we just need some help to get that done if anybody's interested in supporting that project.
Having mentioned ice skating in my childhood, I want to make it clear I'm not a volunteer ice skater.
Come on.
That's not my.
You'd probably be a good trainer.
I fell once, it'll be off and off.
Yeah, I don't fall good anymore. Yeah, I kind of stay away from it. But I think it'd be a lot more, well, I think it is a popular thing. It's just a matter of people knowing that it's there. And I think it would be just like it was, like, I've heard that comment before, that we used to skate all the time out here. So, I'm done.
You're done? Everybody done? Meeting adjourned to January 17th.